Hi, this is Mark Grossarth from Heritage Family Credit Union. Heritage Family Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Bennington Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Learn series. I hope you find these seminars insightful and educational.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Chamber Lunch and Learn. I'm Matt Harrington, your host today and Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce here in Southwestern Vermont. And with us, we have Erica Floriani, our Membership Manager, too, who has helped pull all these programs together. So whether you attend some of our coffee and conversations in the morning or lunch and learns in the afternoon, or coming soon to a live place near you, mixers are coming back. So make sure you head on over to swvtchamber.com to check out about all the new things happening kind of post-COVID as we turn back on, and we're very excited to see all our friends and members again. So, but we're going to still keep doing lunch and learns via Zoom, and we love the opportunity to connect with people all throughout the shires of Vermont, but also being able to broadcast it on Facebook and on Cat TV. With that, we have to thank Cat TV, our partners in a lot of things, and just thank them again for hosting our lunch and learns, as well as Heritage Family Credit Union, who is the sponsor this year for our lunch and learns. So thank you all. As I mentioned, we are on Facebook, so we have a couple questions for our guests today, but we want you to ask your questions too. This is a learning process. We offer this kind of as a public service. You don't need to be a member of the chamber to watch it on Facebook, and you don't need to be a member to ask questions, but we hope that maybe 1 hour a month at lunchtime, we can provide you with some additional small business learning and programming. So ask away when you're watching on Facebook if you have questions. Before I introduce Dan and Gloria, I think it's important. One of the things that comes up very much in our chamber surveys and when we're talking with members, usually number one or number two on our yearly membership survey is marketing. How do I market my business? How do I promote my business? How do I brand my business? How do I communicate? And how do I get sales? How do I get people coming into either my digital storefront or my real storefront? And so with that, we try to often have many programs throughout the year focusing on marketing. I think another interesting thing, I just looked this up, I think we posted it yesterday on our Facebook, that the Small Business Administration recommends that 7% of your gross income in a business, gross revenues, be put towards marketing. So you do the math real quickly, and I think you all can ask yourself, are we doing that? Now, we have some great guests on the call that are hopefully going to make that cheaper for you and help you find new and creative ways to market, maybe on a shoestring duct tape budget that you have, pulling your store together. And we recognize that you may not have 7% to give to marketing, but it's always a great goal to get to. But we've asked both Gloria and Dan to hop on the Lunch and Learn today to share with us maybe some alternative ways to market. And so with us today, we have Gloria Palmer, and she is from the Green Mountain Academy for Lifelong Learning. Welcome, Gloria.
Thank you.
And we have Daniel Stroll from the Bennington Farmers Market, which just moved close to the Chamber of Commerce this current year. So welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're happy to be right next door to you guys.
Yeah, it's awesome. So remind us, every Saturday from 10 to 1?
You got it. Yep.
The Deer Park, right?
Yep.
Perfect. And we also have a small audience here in our virtual studio. So we welcome them. And once we get through some of our questions with Gloria and Dan, we'll open up to the audience and, of course, our audience on Facebook as well. So first off, just give us a little bit of background and maybe career highlights from both of you, where you've been, where you are, and kind of what are some of the accomplishments you've been able to attain since your time here in Vermont. So I'll start with Gloria, and I'll go to Dan next.
Okay. So I've been in Vermont probably 45 years, I would say. My family moved to Manchester from Brooklyn, New York, big change, when I was 11. And I've been here just about ever since, raising my family here. And I've been involved, originally worked at Factory Point Bank, but took some time off to be a mom and then went back into the work field in the nonprofit sector. And I've been with Green Mountain Academy now for probably about 17 years, 12 as its executive director.
Great. Thanks, Gloria. Dan, how about you?
So I came to Bennington 17 years ago now to come work at Hemmings. I started out as a writer, still do a lot of writing for Hemmings, focusing on old cars, but have definitely moved a lot more into digital, working on using the content to bring in customers, paying customers especially. Just started with the farmers market in August. Had a great opportunity to join them and really kind of grow the farmers market. That's really been my my main goal since coming on, and we're having a lot of fun doing that.
Awesome. Well, great. Thanks you two for hopping on today. Again, the question for both of you, we're getting out of COVID, but the world has really changed in the last 15 years. And it almost reminds you of 2008. And then even that little small company in 2004, Facebook, when they started to merge. And really there was this whole transition away from traditional marketing, we called it, to maybe more social or content driven marketing, digital marketing. But even in the last 15 months, I would say businesses and small businesses and nonprofits have had to rethink how they do everything. And so when we're looking at marketing, what are you guys seeing these days? And Dan, will go with you and then Gloria.
So we're, it's obviously tough because we're very much focused on an in-person market. And we were able to do that last summer. This past winter, that just wasn't an option. So not having that one-to-one contact really meant that we had to rely a lot more on online marketing, on social media, and on just making sure that we are trying to find people in every way we can that is not in-person marketing. And I think that most everyone has had to kind of deal with that same challenge as well, where you can't meet with your customers on or in person. So you got to try to figure out how to not only transition your customers to online, but meet new customers online too.
Yeah, a little bit of a different story, Gloria, for you, where you do a lot of online workshops and educational programming. But what have you seen in 15 months since COVID started that has changed?
Well, I mean, a lot of our programming was in person pre-COVID, and then March 2020. The brakes were put on our operations, and we had to rethink how we were going to continue doing what we do. So we transitioned all of our programming to Zoom. Lectures work really well that way. Workshops are a little tough, but we've managed to do a few things that way. We've seen some advantages to Zoom because now we are not just limited geographically to Southern Vermont. We're getting people attending our programs from all over the country and even overseas. And we're also bringing in professors who teach or give a talk from farther away, which is a nice advantage. So our challenge is going to be how to keep them coming, to our programs.
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of turn of now you have these new customers, and I know we're dealing with it even just with the chamber and other organizations they have to straddle this digital world and in-person world too, and it almost created double the work. Now it's double the fun, double the customers, maybe double the online sales, but also double the work. Dan, talk to me about, and I didn't really catch this until Erica said something, but what are the key ingredients? And she reminded me that you're running the farmers market, and that was a funny joke. But what are the key ingredients in your mind for a well-rounded, affordable marketing plan for small businesses? Again, taking in all of the experience, not just with the farmers market, but other careers you've had, other businesses you've worked with. What does a well-rounded, affordable plan look like?
Well, I think you really have to start with knowing who it is that you're trying to reach and going to where they are. I can talk a lot about how Hemmings is facing the fact that its readership, its customer base is getting a lot older because that's just kind of the nature of old cars. But there are younger car enthusiasts. We just have to figure out how to tap into that market. So we really have to kind of start with identifying, who those customers are. We have to get to know them. And getting to know them depends a little bit on some suppositions, but it also depends a lot on reaching out to them, going to the car shows where younger people are, meeting them, talking to them, and seeing what they're interested in, and then trying to figure out how to change your messaging. For us, it'd be, writing different types of stories to focus on that new segment, focus on the cars that they're interested in. Kind of same thing with the farmers market. We have to figure out, who it is that we want to come to the market. And as a market, that's for our vendors. As a market, we also have to figure out what kind of vendors we want. So we have to really have those discussions on an ongoing basis to identify those customers and to identify where they live. Younger car enthusiasts are going to spend most of the time on Instagram and not on Facebook. If we're looking for vendors who are more interested in selling CBD, for example, maybe we should, become well versed in what the CBD products are out there, and start visiting those CBD farms to kind of figure out how to talk to those vendors.
Yeah. One question coming in, just and kind of to leap onto what you were saying, Dan. Do you find it, and this to you, Gloria, do you find it less of an obstacle to reach some of the older consumers via social media platform? And I've had a background in marketing too, and 2004 and then 2008 looked a lot different than 2004 and 2012 looked like. And now you feel like grandmothers and grandfathers and moms and dads are all on Facebook, and maybe even some starting to dip their toe into Instagram. It's a different world than even 10 years ago, where only the young people were on social media. So how are you guys doing that? Especially Dan, you were talking about your older readership. Are they on, like you said, Facebook versus Instagram? And Gloria, that question for you too. But Dan, why don't you follow up?
Yeah, older readers tend to be more on Facebook. But the other thing that we're finding too is that our at Hemmings, our readership is to the point where Facebook is newfangled to them, and they're still not adopting to it. So we find that still reaching them through, traditional email. Our print sales are still strong. We're obviously an outlier in that, even among, publishers. But, it comes back to identifying where your customers are and reaching them where they live.
Gloria, how about you? What is your normal demographic for?
Well, we have an older demographic as well. I would say 55 and older, retired, looking for cultural enrichment, and we have discussed this many times with our board about whether we continue to print a catalog. And pre-COVID, we did 3 catalogs a year. When the pandemic hit, the timing was just right that we said, okay, we're not putting out a summer catalog, because there was just so much uncertainty, and I didn't want to have things in print, at that point. But we decided to do some smaller, like 4-fold brochures, which have been impactful anyway. But we have constantly come back to the fact that our patrons like paper, and they want that. They like to see a catalog or something in print. They're not. I know that there are a good number of people on social media. My challenge, I think, is that they may see our posts, but nobody's liking our posts or sharing them, and that's the only way social media is going to work, is if you share it. And so I would encourage anybody who's watching here, go to Green Mountain Academy's Facebook page, like the page, like our posts, help us spread the word.
Yeah. I think go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, to kind of combat that, we see that as well too. You get 100,000 people seeing your post, but you only get 6 people liking it or 3 people sharing it. Really, the thing that we've found is to have as engaging content as possible. Ask a question of your audience. That's always the easy way to do it. But try to figure out how to get them involved with your post, and that really boosts that engagement. And having content that they can really sink their teeth into as well. I mean, that's really my day job, is to provide that content that gets them to stop and read for 15 minutes and then comment on the story and engage other commenters. If you can provide that meaty content, that's really what, and it costs a little bit of effort, and you need to have somebody who knows how to build that kind of content. But once you get to that point, and once you get it rolling, then you'll see the likes and the shares rolling in.
Yeah. We just started some postcard campaigns, which is kind of interesting in 2021, but just thinking, and it's really the first time we've ever marketed, I think, the chamber with the pureness of just marketing the chamber. But to everybody's point, absolutely, we can post on Facebook, and we could even put some money behind that and make it engaging, but also, Dan, to your point, understanding your market, but the fact that we are being bombarded so much by Facebook and emails, that all of a sudden getting a high touch postcard is almost novel. It's like counter, because we've all gotten away from the print in the mail. And I think those have to be curated and designed well.
Yeah.
The amount of also direct mail we throw away is a lot, but if you make it impactful and you have a strong brand within that culture or even the community of the region, they're going to pick up the Green Mountain Academy catalog. They're going to pick up something from the farmers market because that's why they live here. And I think the same for the chamber as well. And I thought you all both brought up currency, which is kind of interesting. The idea that, likes and shares are kind of a current currency of marketing, and that algorithm and even the idea of it changes yearly, and that hops from platform to platform, or just even, at a certain point they were going to take away likes from Facebook. So there was a mad dash and scramble to figure out, okay, what does that mean? How do you know which posts are important if you can't tell by the likes? So I hope our audience is hearing, just that both of our guests here are working through the same challenges that every other small business and nonprofit is working through. If you are tuning in on Facebook and you do have questions for any of us on the call, put a little comment, which would help this video get more traction, but add a comment into the Facebook Live that's going on right now. Gloria, a question for you. When you said you've been there at least 17 years as executive director, over the last 3, where have you found that you've started to change up some of the marketing plan? If you've changed up the marketing plan, how have you done that over the last 3 years? What maybe even hurdles have you run into while doing that?
Well, hard to say. Last 3 years, I would say the greatest change has been in the last year. Just moving from 3 catalogs a year to just one catalog and maybe 2 smaller brochures. And there's I have to rethink different things there, because we have the support of the business community as sponsors or advertisers, and I don't have the material now to put those ads into. So what we're actually in the process of doing is upgrading our website and hoping that there's some way that we can acknowledge our supporters that way. We do quite a bit of print advertising in the Vermont News Guide. We find that is probably the one paper I think people go to. Our other biggest form of advertising is our weekly e-blasts. We see a lot of registrations come out of that. So,
Good. Yeah. And going back to the original question with Dan of just kind of that well-rounded, affordable plan. I mean, and we're happy to sit down with any of our members watching, but there needs to be a little bit of a newsletter. There needs to be a little bit of a social direction, and print in Southern Vermont. I come from a little bit larger metropolitan area, and I'm not sure print would work as well there, but absolutely the Vermont News Guide, the Banner Journal. Believe it or not, it's what people move to Vermont to get. So absolutely. Dan, let's just say I started my business. I started my business a month ago, and I can think of a couple members that just did that. And I need to start my marketing. Where would you start if you start a new business and they're watching this right now? Where would you tell them to start?
I mean, obviously the basics, think about, okay, if you want to find out where the best hard cider in Southwestern Vermont is, what are you going to do first? You're going to Google it. So, you got to Google My Business. Google offers a lot of tools to help people find your business. So, that's probably the very first place you should start. Set up a Facebook page, set up an Instagram page, again, kind of go back to figure out what kind of customers you want to bring in, where they live, how to reach them, and really, just kind of start sharing your story. If your story is, to go back to cider, that, you have an orchard and you just decided one day to start making cider, and you found this new way to make it, tell us about that. Tell us the story, share lots of photos, and be very transparent about everything. If your hours are extremely flexible, make sure to note that every single day. Today, I'm only open from 10 to 1. Tomorrow, I'm open from 9 to 2, whatever. And other than that, we're talking about print. Physical items, definitely do well. I bring up cider because I had started a cidery a few years ago, and decided to focus on other things. But I still see the stickers that I printed up all over town, just from distributing those at a few of the homebrew events. So those help. T-shirts help. People love T-shirts. People love merch. These are all very good ways to get started. You don't necessarily have to spend a ton to get started with marketing, because these are all available tools for you. Another basic, I should say too, before I move on, is Yelp. And any other kind of review site like that. And especially if you have any kind of niche product, there's probably a niche site to go with it. If you're doing craft brews, get on Untapped. If you are, whatever it might be, there's probably a niche site that reviews and spreads the word about businesses like yours. So, get in on that and make the best of it.
Yeah, it's really been a unique, I'll go back to the fact that it's a really unique land here in Southern Vermont, where some traditions we've really held on to. I know we have a White Rock studio on the call here as an audience member, but even outdoor media. I think about the amount of print outdoor media we've done for Garlic Fest in the past, and to the point that it's kind of obnoxious. But in this day and age, it has to be obnoxious to stop you and you go, right, Garlic Fest is this weekend. And we've had people say that because of the signs, right, Garlic Fest is this weekend. So also acknowledging there's some great outdoor media partners and members we have. I think of Sports and Graphic, I think of Cray, I think of White Rocks, all great vendors locally, GVH, and that still works, darn it. Which I'm an online person, and Dan, I think you are too. So, my hope is we encourage people move more to online, but we're not doing it fast enough, I don't think. So, great. Gloria, you've done a terrific job just as a partner with the Chamber. I know you post on the calendar often. There's a community calendar that we keep talking about with all our members, and we have about, a good handful of people that are religious about posting on that free website. That web page gets hit at least 1,000 times a month. But then we also feature those events on our weekly newsletter. So now not only is Gloria putting out her weekly newsletter, but she's piggybacking up on our weekly newsletter too. Talk to us about that and just even other free ways. We've talked a little bit about some minor cost marketing, but what are some free ways small businesses and nonprofits, low-hanging fruit that people could be doing every day to market their business?
Yeah. Well, I have to say I have a great assistant in the office, and she is responsible for sending you guys those calendar entries. She also, their calendar. Rutland Herald has a calendar. There are a lot of places where you can do free press releases. All of the newspapers in Southern Vermont, even into New York State, down into Massachusetts, we try to reach every publication. And the thing is, there's no guarantee that they'll print it because it is free, but we keep sending it out and just hoping that people are seeing it. I would say, for minimal cost, our e-blast is very effective. So that's pretty much what I would say.
One thing that we have found to be helpful, and I've done it on a couple websites recently, but I remember years and years ago, probably back when I did some training for Hemmings, Dan, not only just having the newsletter, right? It's about building that audience for that newsletter. And you wouldn't believe, again, obnoxious isn't the worst thing as you're trying to gain attention, but the pop-up banners that pop up for newsletter increases newsletters by 400% subscription. So if I hit your website, I don't want to even just a sign in up here form or a down there form. It needs to pop up, and then you can X out of it and go on your merry way on my website. But we have found huge increases on Shire's Young Professionals, the chamber site for that. And a lot of websites now, again, just talking about how easy things have become, just even to put a widget for a pop-up sign up and it goes into a Google form is quite easy. So just little tricks and tips from what we've experienced, but that actually increased our newsletter account. And that's what Gloria said, it's that high touch. Like if you could get that every week and you really want that information, that's powerful. Also going to the calendar, if people are watching right now and want to add to that calendar, it is members only for the chamber. So you do have to be a chamber member, but it's free once that happens. And that's swvtchamber.com/calendar. Pretty basic. We'll make it easy for you guys to do it. So thank you. Dan, let's talk a little bit about the Bennington Farmers Market. Since you become the marketing manager, what have you seen or changed or adopted over time? Again, you just joined last year, but you've really, you've weathered the COVID storm and you've done some terrific marketing even in the months that you've been there. So what have you been working on?
Yeah, so I alluded to this earlier. This past winter, we weren't able to have in-person markets, so we had to switch to online ordering and curbside pickup pretty quickly. And the way we did that was we hammered our mailing list. We use MailChimp to get out our email newsletter, and it's a great service. And we don't use a fraction of all the available services they have on that. But just using that and getting to it, and getting to all those people on that list, it's an invaluable resource. And we like that at Hemmings as well, just because like if anybody starts to rely on SEO or Facebook's algorithm to reach their customers, they're always hopping with that. But with an email newsletter, you have that list and they're not going away. There's no third party to tell, who's going to get that email or not. So that worked out fantastic for us. And it also worked out well just to make sure that we were still in front of people. A lot of farmers markets across the state just didn't do anything this past winter. You know, they didn't go online. They just kind of shut down. And when you do that, you lose momentum. And if you lose momentum, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to get that back. So we noticed, you know, when we switched back to online or switched back to in-person markets a couple weeks ago, people were ready. You know, people were hopping at it because, you know, they were with us all winter long throughout our emails and following us as we were doing the online stuff.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I was talking to a member yesterday. I don't remember who it was, but about the fact that a brand is that kind of living thing, and if you don't feed it, as a lot of us didn't over the course, we were just trying to survive, that it's kind of starved right now. And they were just talking about how hard it's been to bring back their brand in front of people's faces. And I think the counter to that is, so did the world. So that's where I go back to everything's back to zero. You know, the farmers market in Troy, the farmers market in Rutland, the farmers market in Bennington, you know, you're all at zero, and hopefully whoever kind of comes out of the gate the fastest, rebuilding that brand, rebuilding that loyalty, and finding new loyalty is going to be better. Are you going to take over the Troy or no? But you may be able to build up your things because new customers are looking for that experience. Speaking of experience, I want to ask both of you. We've been talking a lot this year with our members and through our coffee and conversations, and one of our digital deep dives was around this idea of cross promotion with other businesses. And do you guys find that as a good way to create more of an experiential marketing effort? It isn't a postcard, it isn't a newsletter, it's not a Facebook post. It is, you know, we're going to serve, you know, wine and cheese at this time for you to come look at jewelry, or we're going to partner a chocolate shop and a hotel and a motel with a wine store, and we're going to package that together to create a kind of a unique experience. What are you guys doing, or what are you seeing, or have you begun to explore some of those things as well?
Well, I can say that at one of these chamber meetings, I met Nancy Koziol of Couch and Cork, and she has now done 3 wine tasting classes for us, and I think she has benefited from our marketing of the event, and we certainly have had very successful programs with her. So that's just one example of 2 businesses kind of working together. But like next week, we are partnering with Northshire Bookstore on a lecture. Madeline Cunin is going to do a reading of her poetry. Later this year in September, we're partnering with the Southern Vermont Arts Center to do a program that has a fundraising component. Our organization has always been very open to collaborating with other nonprofits and businesses to work together, because it just, you know, in my opinion, it just benefits both of us.
Dan?
So, and we are a business made up of businesses, and so we definitely try to encourage cross-pollination amongst our businesses, and we have that already. I can tell you, one of our granola makers, she uses maple from one of our maple syrup farmers. So you know, the more we can do with that, the better. You know, we really try to foster those connections. The other thing that we're really lucky to do with this new space that we're in this summer is offer a lot more opportunities for local nonprofits and local community groups to really, you know, come in and set up a booth and, you know, kind of, you know, take advantage of our audience, take advantage of our customers, but, you know, also provide, you know, new customers through their connections. This past weekend, we had the Alliance for Community Transformations come in, and they brought a vintage Volkswagen bus, and, you know, it's a real nice eye catcher. They had a lot of activities for kids. So it worked out well for them and for us as well. This coming weekend, the Bennington Museum is going to be setting up a booth. And this reminds me that I need to repost their event that they just posted on Facebook. But that's it works out for us, but we're happy to do that for the community as well, and kind of give back in that way too.
Great. Those are terrific examples, both of you, and hopefully those watching. Again, Erica, I can echo Erica and my sentiment that it makes your business more fun, or your nonprofit more fun. It just does. B, combining forces is, the synergy. It's the 1 + 1 is greater than 2. Like Gloria said, Nancy's subscription list and Gloria's subscription list coming together is actually quite powerful. And C, I think we are in that time where people are a little exhausted on the digital platforms completely, and they're going to be looking for experiences. And the more that you can partner and be stronger together with chamber members or non-chamber members alike throughout the county is going to be both exciting, eye-popping, and beneficial for your business. So again, if you're watching this and you're a chocolate maker, bread maker, anything, a bank, banker, you could partner with us on a variety of things. You could partner with the farmers market, I'm sure, to highlight some of your services, but also highlight theirs. So we encourage that kind of network of members. That's exactly what we're here for. So Erica, I wanted to just open up to you and then open up to our Zoom audience for any additional questions. We're in the last couple minutes of the Lunch and Learn, but Erica, anything from you that I'm missing, or just another question you wanted to ask?
No, I've been typing away for you in the box. Matt does a much better job at being the head of these meetings for us. So I appreciate you both joining us. Gloria, just getting back to that cross promotion, you're doing the physical experience with Nancy. Do you feel that, I know the exchange of her audience and your audience, you have gained from that? You have seen like people that, you probably wouldn't have reached if not for that partnership.
Right. Yes. All of our programs with her have been on Zoom. So it's a very different experience, I think, but it's worked. And I know that she's been promoting it to her list of people. And I'm sure that we have gained from that. One of the interesting things about some of these wine tastings we've done is that somebody local will sign up for it, but they then tell their family who live maybe in another state, hey, I'm doing this virtual wine tasting. Why don't we do it together as a family? And it's been fun to see that, because there's always been this social aspect to Green Mountain Academy's programs, whether it's in person and people come together, and oftentimes people will come to a lecture and then they might go out to dinner afterwards as a group and continue the conversation about what they just learned. But I'm also seeing that virtually it's been fun to see families or friends come together that way.
And have you or Dan, well, Dan, you're probably in a better position because your event is held outside. People are coming together, but they feel more comfortable, being in an outdoor event versus maybe going into a space, Gloria, to do one of your paint and sips. So as we are transitioning, do you see yourself continuing some of your events online still post-COVID while opening up still to people for in-person experience?
So we're kind of wrestling with that right now. As we've gone in person for our new location, our online ordering has dropped off, which we expected because people really want to go there and see, the meat, the sausages they're getting from the meat vendor. And it makes sense. We are still going to continue offering, our online ordering for a little while. probably will, drop off entirely and then pick it up again this coming winter. We still see it as a good tool for marketing. And obviously, we'll continue to promote, the market itself online. It does kind of run itself a little bit during the summer months, just because everybody sees the signs and everybody knows it's going to be there every Saturday. But at the same time, my mission is to grow the markets, and we can't just sit on our laurels and wait. We gotta definitely keep hitting it, keep plugging it.
I would say for us, Zoom is definitely going to be a part of our future. We can't wait to get back to in-person programming, and hoping that there may be a way that we can have a live in-person event, but also have it live streamed, so that people from outside this area can still join us, or people who just want to, stay home and not have to travel, particularly in the winter time. It would be nice to do that. So that's a big part of discussion right now with our board, as to how we move forward. We're going to continue to Zoom through the summer, but I'm hoping in the fall that we can have a plan to kind of have a hybrid experience of our programming.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention our partners, Cat TV, obviously doing a lot of video work, great way to make content, and I know they would love to hear from people. And I know they're often trying to figure out how to work with nonprofits and businesses to help promote. So thank you to Cat TV. But another resource that honestly I think we take for granted, the amount of content and how popular video is, and the capabilities of Cat TV are something that is a treasure in this area, and along with GNAT up in the Northshire. So make sure you take, as you think about your 7% of your business profit, or just even your energy, how are you spending it on a multitude of vehicles? We do have some questions from the audience, and I want to make sure we get to them. And first up is Mr. Chris Bates. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thank you so much. This is really interesting. I'm a firm believer in video. I love doing video for everything we do, for White Rocks and for the fishing part of it and everything. I'm still working out the issues for my hot sauce, but I just kind of curious about mass texting. Is that a new and up and coming thing? Because I'm trying it out, where for Stephanie's business, for the graphic design place, is, we're sending out these timed texts. So I'm wondering if that's really a way to go, or do I just stay with the videos and hope that people see them and like them and share them and everything? Or is it the up and coming thing is for texting now, where people get the little ding, like the barbecue guys, every morning, 9 o'clock, I get their text. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is that a easy, simple way to get your word out?
Thank you, Chris. I have some thoughts on that, but I want to pass it to our panel first. So Dan, we'll start with you and head on over to Gloria. If you have an answer, not a problem if you don't.
So I winced at that, because texting is a very intimate form of communication, across all age groups. They don't like being interrupted with it. Think about your own experience. Like when Verizon texts you, even though you've given them permission to do that, you're like, come on, stop it. It's interruptive. And I think it's probably more counterproductive than it would be productive. Sure, you'll get them. You'll get them to pay attention. But you can almost burn that bridge right away by doing that.
I would agree with Dan that I personally would find it annoying.
Okay.
One I would add with that, Chris, if you were to do it, and we are exploring that as well for some of our festivals. So It's got to be you can break that intimacy boundary if it's of extreme value. So like I have some products that are like, hey, would you like to like we're about to send you the thing again on your subscription. You can press cancel right now and not spend $100 on that, or you can say yes to the text. Thank you so much. I didn't have to get it in an email that cool, you can break that boundary. And I think if you and Steph did discounts only to your loyal text customers, so it's not about saying, hey, White Rocks is open today. Well, yeah,
Right.
Of course it is. It's, hey, bring this text in for a 20% off your next print order.
That's what we're looking at, Matt. That is exactly what we're looking to do.
Yeah, and I think Dan comes from this world at least. Do some A/B testing.
Right.
Give it a shot for 6 weeks and see if you get some annoyed customers calling you up, or how people are subscribing, and offering extreme value when you break that intimacy line.
Because I tried it with the Shell gas card and we got some good response with that. So that was one of the ways I tried it, but I want to try it in a different form now. So because everybody likes, hey, if you get this, you'll get this. So, but I do want to try that, what you were just talking about. So,
yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, you guys. It was wonderful.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for tuning in. Any other questions? I know we have one other person on the Zoom call, but any questions on Facebook? This is your last chance. I do want to ask, kind of just to round out the questions, and that gives an opportunity for a minute for anybody to ask theirs. But what's your favorite content or social platform right now, and why? What are you just getting so much fun out of? And it might be video, it might be Instagram, it might be newsletters, having fun designing them and talking to your audience. But what are you guys finding is just the most enjoyable or favorite content or social platform? And I'll start with Gloria again, and I'll go over to Dan.
I think in the past I would probably have said Facebook because I like the interactive component to that. Although with Green Mountain Academy, I'm frustrated because I don't get a lot of interaction at all. So I would say probably Instagram is probably my favorite social media platform. When it comes to our weekly e-newsletter, I designed that. I love putting that together. So and that is very effective. So,
Dan?
Yeah, I'd have to go to the email newsletter. It's effective, but it's also it's where I live in my day job at Hemmings. I create content for that day in and day out. So, creating content is what I love to do. And, I have these grand plans to do, in-depth profiles on every one of our vendors for our newsletter. But even the stuff that I've been able to do so far, like for instance, at the height of sugaring season, we did a real nice profile on our maple sugar vendor, and people really like seeing that. It didn't take a ton of effort. But it really shone, and people enjoyed seeing something that really looks well put together, and I enjoy putting something together like that.
Well, I think, Gloria, I was going to ask you, do you, just with Masterclass and Udemy and all these great online platforms, do you put together kind of like Masterclass gets me every time, and I've purchased it twice, and I've unsubscribed twice, and I just get so excited when I see the preview videos, and I have a potential to learn how to barbecue. So do you put that together almost in your I was thinking that, or if you've already filmed the thing, can you do 2 minutes kind of pre-roll free? Get them caught into the 90-second.
Yeah. That I haven't done anything like that, but that would certainly be something I'd like to explore.
Yeah, and thinking, Dan, with you, and I'm just thinking of our and I know Gloria, GNAT well, and Dan, Cat TV well. I'm thinking there's some synergies there around how does that profile become of the farmers market, a 2-minute intro digitally with some help from Cat, or just, these things now are shooting like 4K, so you could very easily do it on your cell phone too. It'd be interesting to watch. But
yeah, we've done a few live streams from the market. Which when we've got the music going and people stopping to talk to each other, and the vendors are doing their thing. It works out really well.
Yeah, we obviously these are all live, but we used to do a lot more live, and yeah, it's hard to get it all in, you know. So, well, I want to thank both of you, Gloria and Dan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Give us, Gloria, just a website we can learn more about the Academy, and then Dan, a website that we can learn more about the farmers market.
Okay, our website is greenmtnacademy.org.
Okay, great. So if you want to learn more about Gloria's organization and also sign up for some of those great classes, maybe there's a marketing class coming soon. So sign up for that. And Dan, how about you?
BenningtonFarmersMarket.org, or you can come see me at the marketers booth every Saturday.
There you go, folks. So again, thank you for taking an hour, everybody tuning in on Facebook and our audience here and our members. Thank you for taking an hour out of your day to just learn a little bit more about how to be an excellent small business. And I want to thank our two guests, as well as Cat TV and Erica, for helping us pull this all together. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Mark Grossarth from Heritage Family Credit Union. Heritage Family Credit Union is a proud sponsor of Bennington Chamber of Commerce Lunch and Learn series. I hope you find these seminars insightful and educational.